So I know about all the big countries were here at the Congress of Vienna, but who were the big characters?
Most flamboyant, excessive, exciting of all was our favourite man, Talleyrand. Him again. He galvanised Vienna. No one could believe it. He arrived to negotiate for what was supposed to be the beaten power, came out triumphant. They hired the Kaunitz Palace to seem as if the French delegation was this kind of big star delegation, and he had Creme and balls and celebrations. And Talleyrand was a genius.
So did Talleyrand steal the show? Did he manage to get everything?
Well, he tried to steal the show, but this was the Battle of the Titans. This was an incredible selection of men, and Prince Metternich, the Austrian minister, was perhaps one of the most impressive. And he was a very different character to Talleyrand. He was more melancholic, more principled, but at the same time, he was determined to win control. Metternich had an amazing network of spies, and they were spying out everything. If you think that all the kingly delegations, all the royals were together in the Hofburg Palace, nearly every person serving them was a spy, and every one of them was reporting back to Metternich. If Metternich was the quiet one sending out the spies and Talleyrand was the great host, then the Tsar was the man that people were really afraid of. They were terrified of Russia. I mean, let's remember, Napoleon was utterly defeated by Russia when he tried to march through it in 1812. Its wastes, its cold, its sheer size defeated everyone, and everyone was rather terrified of the Tsar. After all these kind of great men, great celebrities, we have the man who Britain's forgotten, Lord Castlereagh, and he was a man utterly preoccupied with fair play. He wanted to see everything distributed fairly. And it's just so sad, because when he got back to Britain, people couldn't believe it. They said, you know, we're the victors. You've given too much, and you've given too much to France. And he became more and more unpopular. And the public criticism was so intense. 7 years after the Congress of Vienna, he just committed suicide. So that was rather a sad ending for what had been, for him, a great period in the Congress of Vienna.
The Congress was a seminal event in history, as it redrew the European map after the Napoleonic Wars. It reunified Germany, and historians cite it as the beginning of the European Union. The business of the Congress took place at the Chancellor's residence in central Vienna.
Well, this is where so much of what went on, so much of the future of Europe was all decided in these rooms here, particularly in this one, the Congressa. And what's significant about this one is it's got 5 doors.
Why 5 doors?
Why 5 doors? Because initially there were 4 main negotiators in the Congress of Vienna, and then, because Talleyrand was so clever, there were 5. And they each had to have their own door. The ego was so big, they were such superstars, they had to be equal. So they each had to have one.
They all worked together
at the same time.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Absolutely. It was like all 5 big musical stars together coming in, and their huge entourages, all their mistresses, all their girls, everything. It was a big show.
Wow, fantastic.
And what's really funny is that, yes, this is the 5-door room, the room of all the heroes, but the room wasn't really set up for it. So they had to kind of make these symbolic doors. And this one isn't really a door, it's more of a tiny cupboard.
Like a broom cupboard,
Like a broom cupboard, just ideal for all my mops.
I wonder who was inside that.
Who was in disgrace?
It wasn't the French, I bet.
Never.
So how is your cooking?
Good.
Good?
Especially with you.
Okay. Well, you don't know yet. The cherry tomatoes, they've been washed and cut up all the little stalk. So that's going to go on a baking tray, and we're just going to scatter a bit of caster sugar all around it.
So, tomato in the dessert?
To be honest, when they caramelize slowly in the oven, they always get very, very sweet. Add balsamic vinegar. Put in the oven for 20 minutes. Let's do some chopping. Meanwhile, prep the salsa, which is chopped mint and pink breadfruit. You can see they're just starting to burst. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to leave them on the back to cool down, and after that, we're going to put them in the fridge so they're nice and chilled. Next, the trio of chocolate mousse. Place the white, dark, and milk chocolate into separate bowls. Heat cream gently, pour over the chocolate mix, and leave to cool. Right, time for cocktail now. Let's make some mojitos. Some vanilla sugar. That's pure vanilla sugar. That's that.
Beautiful.
Very nice. So we're just going to put that in a mortar. And if you just pick some nice leaves and give it a good grind together. Okay, so we've got 200 ml of lime juice. That's around 8 limes. Top it up with some white rum. Melt some gelatin, which will make your mojito a mousse rather than a drink. Lime juice and rum together. I'm going to add the melted gelatin to it. In go the leaves and mix well. It's got the...
It's amazing, yeah, it's got a kick in it.
Yeah, it's got a kick on it. Then fold in the whipped cream. Pour into shot glasses, grate lime zest on the top. I know when the Congress of Vienna was on, a lot of big decisions were taken, but it was a big party as well.
It was an incredible party. It was the party, if you were it, you had to be there.
And of course the best chefs were here. I mean, Carême was there.
Well, Carême was there, and this is how Talleyrand made himself so influential, because Carême made these incredible meals, incredible dinners. Everyone wanted to be there. Everyone wanted to be eating Carême's fabulous food.
Time to finish our fabulous food. Back to my chocolate mousse trio. Okay, so this one's going to have to set before we move the other 2 layers to it. So I think the time is catching up on us, so we need to move our layers to make sure we are on time for this party. These are chocolate fruit tartlets. To make sure we got some good calories, we're going to add some unsalted butter. That's going to give us a nice glossy chocolate filling. Fill them up. That's going to set nicely as well. Okay, so if you can take them to the fridge, and we're going to decorate them again at the museum, if we ever make it, because at the moment we're not doing too well, we're a bit behind, so we're going to carry on. Next, for the trio, time for the milk chocolate layer. We then reset them in the fridge. So, again, some little chocolate pastry shell as well, so it's going to be easy to spread inside. These berry tartlets are layered with mascarpone cheese. So it's a fruit jelly, and it's you dissolve it with some water and a bit of custard sugar, and you just brush it on. Okay, so this one are done, nice and glossy, and our chocolate mousse. Probably it should be all set. So the white chocolate goes on at last.
They look marvellous. I think they might be the favourites.
You think so? We'll see.
We'll find out how Eric's petit fours go down in Vienna later. Now a dessert that's often a bit of a drama. It's another one championed by Creme the Souffle. Okay, so everybody else is almost set up. You can see we got all the food and buffet ready, and the guest's going to be there very soon, we just need to finish our display. There are a few finishing touches, and then it's time for a quick taste. The popping candy on it.
Secret ingredient.
Yeah. I think we've done a brilliant job.
It looks so beautiful. It looks so beautiful. Carême would be proud.
I know, it would be definitely proud. And to be honest, I think...
Is it time to taste?
That's very refreshing.
That's really nice. Yeah. That's amazing. So much chocolate.
It's not
so
too
much
rich
cream,
as well,
but it's so good.
Yeah.
That's so nice. Oh. Oh, that's amazing. That's like a giant sweet. That's my favourite.
The guests have finished looking at paintings and sculptures and are now looking forward to art they can eat.
People are already queuing for the buffet here.
Really marvellous.
Yeah?
Well, that's something special.
Yeah.
It's really special.
That's really nice.
I like this, thank you.